Hey guys, Ash here. I've been really looking forward to making this video. Um, Bitcoin bears and bulls. Who's hot? Who's not on crypto? This is on Bloomberg Technology. Current price Bitcoin $11,134.51 USD, and GBP in euros. It's way up there too. Okay, so this basically is a Bloomberg article, always getting updated on what the financial experts in the field, not just financial experts, but like economy experts, traders, top fund managers, what their opinion is of Bitcoin through time. So it starts off the bottom and then they add the new ones to the top. So we'll start way down at the bottom here. 335 billion dollar cryptocurrency market right now. Bitcoin has a market capitalization of 189 billion, which is way up, quite up there. How many companies in the world have a market cap of 189 billion? And cryptocurrencies as a whole is 335 billion. Like we're working towards $500 billion now in market cap. That's some serious coin you can move, some serious value you can move quickly, in a few minutes around the planet. You can move billions around the planet quickly and cheaply. It can cost you 10, maybe $20 for a transaction. So, Milton Friedman, Nobel Prize winning economist. The internet is going to be one of the major forces for reducing the role of the government. The one thing that's missing that will soon be developed is a reliable e-cash, a method whereby on the internet you can transfer funds from A to B without A knowing B or B knowing A, all the way in which I can take a $20 bill and hand it over to you, and there's no record of where it came from. That's back, wow, that's in like July 21st, 1999. That is very, Bitcoin was predicted. The technology had been predicted long before Bitcoin ever existed. There's actually an ancient problem kind of called the Byzantine generals problem. It's a math problem, and it's solved by the blockchain, which Bitcoin is built on. So Milton saw this coming, and Bitcoin is here. It's a reliable e-cash. You can transfer funds from A to B without B or B or knowing A or A knowing B, and you could transfer $20 on the Bitcoin Cash network. Because on the Bitcoin network, it might cost you $20 to send money quickly, to get those confirmations in. But the bottom line is, yeah, if you Milton basically knew that this was coming, and this perfectly describes what blockchain technology has done for money. Paul Krugman, Nobel Prize winning professor of economics, New York University of New York. Paul says Bitcoin is evil. So far, almost all the Bitcoin discussion has been positive economics. Can this actually work? And I have to say, I'm deeply unconvinced. That was back in December 28th, 2013. So Bitcoin is already around since 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's 4 years later. Paul Krugman says it's evil. Well, evil is a strong religious statement towards something that's very threatening whatever, God you worship. So far, almost all of the Bitcoin discussion has been positive economics. Well, that doesn't sound like a bad thing, Paul. Positive economics, and it's Bitcoin's around for 4 years. That sounds positive. Can this actually work? Uh, Paul, Bitcoin already had been working for 4 years, over 4 years by the time you made this statement. It's cryptographically secure. It hasn't been hacked in any serious way. There's nobody who's successfully attacked it and been able to take it down. It's been censored and banned in all locations around the earth, or at least thought of been banned. And it doesn't matter. Bitcoin is everywhere, and soon it's going to be in space because there's satellites going up, putting a Bitcoin circuit of satellites around the Earth. There's a project for that. So eventually, Bitcoin, it doesn't matter if a country's like cuts off all the taps, you look up into space and you see Bitcoin. So, in any case, can this actually work? Well, yeah, it has worked and it is working. And I have to say that I'm still deeply unconvinced. Well, that's your opinion, Paul. Eric Schmidt, chairman of Alphabet Inc., March 3rd, 2014. Bitcoin is a remarkable cryptographic achievement. The ability to create something which is not duplicatable in the digital world has enormous value. Eric, that is a very insightful statement because you're absolutely correct. That's what basically Bitcoin's done is it's what the blockchain technology has done. Blockchain allows you to create a unique digital item in space, in digital space, that is immutably yours as long as you have access to the private key. So you create a private key, it gives you a whole ways that you can own all kinds of things that nobody else can ever figure out mathematically, until quantum computers come along. But they already have figured that out with like quantum coins. I actually own some quantum coins. They basically are quantumly secure. So if the quantum computers come out, there's no way that they can be hacked there since the beginning of their blockchain. Anyway, getting a little off track. Eric Schmidt saw that Bitcoin was a remarkable cryptographic achievement. Richard Branson, Richard Branson, who doesn't know him, founder of Virgin Group, an incredible entrepreneur. I always loved Richard Branson because the he his original story of how he's a self-made millionaire, like billionaire. He's figured everything out. He owns islands of his own. I think Richard has really got his head screwed on straight when it comes to business. So what does he have to say about it? Bitcoin as a currency is working. Yeah, it works. There may be other currencies like it that may be even better. That's true, like Ethereum, which is the next generation of Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin version 2, Ethereum. But in the meanwhile, there's a big industry around Bitcoin. Absolutely. Well said, Richard. It's an industry, and industries really have embraced it because of its efficiencies to transfer value really quickly and without relying on third parties or trust networks. People have made fortunes off Bitcoin. Well, there's people that have seen what this technology is going to do. What's this algorithm going to do to change our lives? Which brings me to a point of intrinsic value, which we will touch on later. But let's just go continue on with Richard's quote. Some have lost money. Oh, absolutely, many have lost money with Bitcoin. People have lost Bitcoin completely too. 22,000 Bitcoins on a hard drive, gone. It's volatile, but people make money off volatility too. Well, that's how you make money in stocks. If it's not volatile, you can't make money. So, ups and downs. Richard knows all about that stuff. Bill Gates, co-founder of Microsoft. What does he have to say about this in November the 2nd, 2014? Bitcoin is exciting. Ooh, exciting. Because it shows how cheap it can be. That's when you're transferring value around the planet for virtually free. Yeah, Bitcoin is better than currency in that you don't have to be physically in the same place. And of course, for large transactions, currency can get pretty inconvenient. Oh, absolutely. Like third countries like China, for example, they have a large cash-based society. So there's Chinese people who have tons of money, like physical bills, like in their on their person or in their home or stashed or in a bank. So this gives them a way that they can take all of this bills and like put it into a computer more or less and just have a private key that's memorized or written down in several locations that very securely guarded. If they do that, they can guard all of their wealth with virtually no space. It's just data now. And that's powerful because they can send that data, that value anywhere around the planet. They can send their value around the planet easily and quickly for virtually free. So absolutely, Bill. Good point. Ravi Menon, Managing Director, Monetary Authority of Singapore, at July 29, 2005. Whether digital currencies will take off in a big way remains to be seen. Well, absolutely. In 2005, Bitcoin was not doing well. It might have been around like $200, $300 per Bitcoin, crashed from a price of $1,000. So, yeah, Bitcoin was not doing well. But it is a phenomenon that many central banks are watching closely. Oh, central banks are very interested in this because this is new technology to mint money. Okay, anybody who creates a digital currency can mint money. The value is assigned by the market. So if the market thinks the virtual currency has value and they start wanting it to use it, say, to send to each other, to pay each other for all kinds of things in a trade and barter situation, yeah, that sounds pretty incredible. Including MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore. So even his own organizations looked deeply into Bitcoin. And watching it closely as means hiring people, obviously, developing with it. Many banks, most major banks have their own blockchains, internal blockchains, private blockchains that they've been experimenting with, sending value to each other, creating, minting their own tokens, sending their tokens to themselves. But the thing is, all these private little networks and banks, they're private networks, so they don't like. Was Citibank going to send Royal Bank a Citibank coin? Well, what's that Citibank coin worth? Is that maybe that's a derivative of the value of the bank? Well, that could be a really interesting concept. If you had virtual currencies for banks that were tied to their own value, well, that's like the stock market, right? You're basically selling stocks. You're selling assets of the bank. So it's minted by the bank. So it's the same way as virtual currencies are created. Now people can just mint their own. I minted my own Go Canada coin, and I just nobody ever. I didn't really send it out into the network. I didn't know how to get market it. So it wasn't very successful or successful at all. Actually, I think I was the only miner of it. But yeah, I still have it on my old computer, and I got a bunch of Canada coins. Anyway, if they do take off, one cannot rule out central banks themselves issuing digital currency someday. Well, absolutely, and that's actually what's happening in Russia. They're looking to issue their own digital currency like the crypto ruble, and a lot of smaller countries, it's expensive to create money. It's expensive to print bills and to do the artwork and to get the coins and get the metal. Like governments and more are getting more and more efficient when it comes to making money. The other day I had a quarter in my hand and I swear it was made 100% aluminum. It just felt like nothing. I was like, well, this is really what a quarter is boiled down to now. It feels like nothing. It's just a hard piece of metal. It's not even heavy though. But point is, it's expensive to create all of that and the resources that are required. When you do virtual currency, there's what are the costs? You're paying a couple of programmers to basically whip you up a token from a boilerplate contract that's already out in GitHub. You can have it professionally reviewed by somebody else for a very small amount of money. You can have it, you can issue it out to the network. You can have hackers take a run at it. White hat hackers. You can have bug hunts to make sure your code is secure. So absolutely, these companies, all this code has been figured out already, and it's available, and you can use it, and it's virtually free on GitHub, github.com. Ravi, you're right, and it's pretty much it's coming. It's coming, and digital technologies have taken off, and central banks are going to be issuing their own currencies. And Ravi knew. Mark Carney, Governor, Bank of England. If distributed ledger technology could provide a more efficient way for private sector firms to deliver payments and settle securities, why not apply it to the core of the payment system itself? The great promise of distributed ledgers for central banks is the potential to enhance resilience. Wow, July 16th, 2016. Mark was on the ball. So basically, Mark's saying, hey, if you've got this great technology that small companies can use to settle things inside of themselves or with other people, it's a digital database, right? It's a giant distributed database that is general purpose, more or less. Why not apply it to the whole core of the payment system itself, like the ACH network? The ACH network is the settlement network that the banks and financial institutions use preferred because it's a trusted network that they can push funds and values through. And usually, if you've done a bank wire transfer to another bank, you've gone through the ACH network or the SWIFT network. There's other networks out there. Now there's a Bitcoin network, and it can do it for $20 unless you're using Bitcoin Cash, which would be pennies. And yeah, you can basically send value, and it's resilient too. Like Bitcoin is, you can't take it down. That's the thing about Bitcoin people have to understand. Here is a core thing. Bitcoin is going to be around for a lot longer than you or I will be. Let that sink in. Maybe hundreds of thousands. Bitcoin could be around for 5,000 years. That's a long time. Okay. What currency these days is still in circulation thousands of years later? None. None. So Bitcoin is going to become an ancient currency that's still available through computers. As long as there's computers around, there will be Bitcoin. As long as there's technology and communication around, there'll be Bitcoin. Bitcoin would work from planet to planet, no problem. Use quantum computers to communicate their values, and you can have an updated blockchain, quantum blockchain. And I'm sure somebody's already built that or planning to build that when quantum computers become more available. But bottom line, I digress. Mark Carney, you're absolutely bang on, um, and it's basically here. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop there. My name is Ashley Folks. Been a Bitcoin enthusiast since 2012, and I mine, I trade, I buy, I sell. I have owned two Bitcoin businesses. One of them unfortunately didn't work out. It was CoinTap gift card, but the a Bitcoin broker I have still running, and some people's investments. They bought Bitcoin back when it was $60 per Bitcoin. And if they've held it and they haven't cashed it out, then it's worth a lot of money. So some people have, well, $11,000 today. Some people have done really well. And thank you for listening to my channel. Please subscribe and have a great day.